Got it. Prepare it. I didn't do a lot of homework on Toledo. I thought about it and then I did something else.
Yeah, right.
Okay, we are live.
Yep.
What is up to everybody watching on YouTube? Please, if you have questions or comments, please leave them in the chat. And we will get to them as they come through. I got Jeff here. Sean's taking the night off. And Jeff and I are going to talk about the Buckeyes win over Arkansas State. We're going to get you ready for the Toledo Rockets coming to town for that huge night game. For some weird reason, it's a night game. I guess the Rockets look better under the lights versus daylight, like a lot of women do, right? Hey-o. No offense to the ladies. I'm sure you're beautiful. Sideways in a hurry. Oopsies. So anyways, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell, all that good stuff. You'll get notified when we do go live every Sunday night. Check out this YouTube channel and the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and all that. Specifically, the YouTube channel will have your daily Buckeye Blitz. It'll have your podcasts. It'll have press conferences and player interviews. One headline I want to give you guys, we are working on the subscription services come through. It should be a week or two away, so stay tuned for that. And we're trying to build a little community here. We're not trying to make this crazy huge, but just want to make it available for those of you that are interested. And we'll be doing texting. The upper tier will have a post-game Zoom call where basically it's a call-in show, and both levels get you a free t-shirt from the supply store. So feel free to poke around in there at the buckeyecast.com, and let's get on with it. Those of you that have supported the show so far, thank you. I got a cough. Sorry. Those of you that have supported the show so far, I appreciate it. Buy us a shot. You can find links to send us a shot in the show description for YouTube or the podcast, whatever. And we greatly appreciate it. It will be taken in good health. So, Jeff, do you have any bourbon talk to get to tonight?
Well, just opened up yesterday, late evening, a little victory bottle. Opened up a small batch, 4 Roses.
Oh.
I like my bourbon with a little bit of ice, so a little bit of ice, but very smooth.
Are you a guy that goes from one bottle to the next, or do you switch it up depending on how you feel that night?
A lot of times when I buy a new bottle of something I haven't tried before, I may stick with that bottle through, and then when it gets, I won't empty it until I get a refill, until I replace it. But usually I'll work on one bottle just so I can, because if it's something I haven't had before, and I'm not, I don't know, my palate isn't as trained as some maybe in the bourbon world. So I like to, you get plenty of experience with it, get really used to that taste, and then you can kind of differentiate that taste when you open a new bottle of something else. Something you can compare it to. So typically I get one bottle, I take it down to maybe a drink or two left, and then I'll hold on to it until I get a refill. Yeah,
Sean's one of those guys that goes from one bottle to the next. He needs a bar to store his bottles so he can try something different in the meantime, just not kill one bottle and move on.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I had a real awkward experience at the liquor store last evening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, the guy behind the counter. It's kind of weird. Anyways,
Okay.
it just got weird for a minute. And so I stood there and I just kind of looked back and forth. I'm like, awkward. Yeah. So then I walked out.
You didn't buy anything, or?
Yeah. I got the four roses. Yeah. And but I asked him, I said, hey, you get any Weller?
Yeah.
And it didn't go well from there.
He didn't know what you were talking about.
The conversation did not go Weller. He didn't. He knew what I was talking about, but he made a comment like it was like condescending. Like, why would I be so stupid to think that he would be able to get a hold of something of that quality? Kind of. I was just kind of thrown off. I'm like, hey man, I'm asking if you can get it or not. I don't see it. I didn't know. I don't know why he was trying to be a dick. I was just trying to buy bourbon.
Yeah. Well, then you should say, yeah. Well, I don't know why I'm shopping here then.
Right. It is the better of the two that are within my couple miles of my house. But I think I do need to. I can travel a little bit further to go to ABC or something like that. But
that's what I do.
Yeah. So yeah, just an awkward experience. Don't need to be going back there.
All right. Well, let's get into this quick post game from the Arkansas State game. It was good. Had its strong points, had its weak points. Kind of cardboard, kind of like watching cars rust at times. But anyway, Buckeyes roll 45-12. Was never really close. Tried to make it close. Denzel Burke single-handedly tried. On offense, give me a quick takeaway overall on the game, Jeff.
Arkansas State had 4 scoring drives.
Mm-hmm.
Let that sink in. Denzel Burke and Arkansas State had 4 scoring drives. He single-handedly gave him one of them. I don't know. I don't know if it was just lack of concentration. Maybe, dudes, these 19, 20-year-old kids, man, who knows what's going on? But something, he seemed distracted. He just didn't play well. I'm sure he's the first person to say that.
He was over aggressive.
Oh, like to a Damon Arnett level. Yeah, like just out of not. I don't want to say out of control, like he was like losing it, but not focused and just very over aggressive. Yeah, he's just coming completely over the back of people, grabbing them as they're going up, just holding the jerseys and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure it was not a fun session, video session today, watching that tape with his coach.
He got away with one or two.
I guess, yeah, and I guess there's some pro teams and stuff that play that way. Legion of Doom used to do that shit. Legion of Boom, whatever it's called. They would just hold every play and just dare the refs almost to call it.
Right.
But you
I don't
can't
think
do
that's
that
being coached here.
But no. And plus, you're not Richard Sherman in his prime. No. You're Denzel Burke. Kid had a bad game. And when you're playing that corner and that type of defense, you're on that island. Your bad game shows up, that allows them to move the ball at very long distances quickly.
I think if Jordan Hancock was healthy, he would have got pulled.
I at one point I'm like, that dude just needs to take a break. Like they need to go get his head right. Like just get him out. But then you're right. Maybe they didn't we got to let him fight through it because we don't, our next guy in isn't ready to go in. Yeah. But it looked like he needed just to get pulled to the side,
slap in the face.
Well, hey man, what's wrong? Because you're not playing like yourself, and we can't have you doing what you're doing. Yeah. But I mean, luckily, he can't have that game in a Penn State game or a Michigan State game. He can't do that.
Right.
It might be something if those are 2 long touchdown passes instead of marching down the field with field goals. From a better team, that might be something we can't get out of, a hole we can't get out of. So, a lot of work to go there. But yeah, overall, like, yeah, I was never worried about is Arkansas State capable of anything. They weren't capable of shit. Blackman was throwing the ball for his life. Um, yeah, the defense I thought was great. 9 times out of 10, you know, we eliminated the run game. Quarterback was under pressure a lot, not a lot of sacks, few, but a lot of pressure. I was overall happy with the defense, just some of those plays and penalties. You know, it's like just not focused, not to the level we need to be at for that game.
Yeah.
So sluggish, you know, let down after the Notre Dame game. Although we weren't the ones that let down the most after that game, but we can talk about the upsets later.
Right.
But yeah, just sluggish, you know. And I knew Marvin Harrison was really good, you know. I expected our pass offense. We could, you know, I was overall happy, but yeah, just a few things that really stuck out. Penalties, that's huge.
Right. Yeah. So really, let's dig into it. We'll go through offense first. Overall, though, penalties, those always stick in my craw. Everybody that listens to this show for any length of time knows that I'm going to harp on that. 9 for 85, and most of them were of the unsportsmanlike variety, talking shit, basically.
Yeah, they
weren't piling on. Is like Xavier Johnson got one after a touchdown to Marvin Harrison, I believe.
And I saw that play. I saw that Bruin a couple plays before. He was face to face with the dude, and it was the same. It was I think it was that safety, Eddie Smith. I knew, like, as soon as they called the penalty, I'm like, oh yeah, because they were going at it the play before. Xavier had to go and tell them about it. But yeah, those are the worst penalties. Those ones you can control. Like sometimes holding stuff like that. You know, it's in the heat of battle or face mask. You know, those are different level penalties than.
Yeah.
Then I feel
most of these were on the defense too, by the way. I mean, we touched on the Denzel stuff, but also we had 1 or 2 offsides, and the timing of some of these penalties was just horrible. Like gave them additional drives at least twice. They got additional. They got new life after a drive had stalled, and their time of possession. Yeah, the time of possession was 38 to 22. They had the ball for 38 minutes, man. And
they ran a lot of plays.
Yeah. We did not. That's the thing that I really wanted to harp on from an offensive point of view is that, so we had 54 plays. Last week we had like 51. So this is the game plan. The book is out there on us. This is how you slow down an Ohio State offense that's high powered and a lot of weapons and all that. You reduce the number of possessions, number of plays, and you hope to make plays yourself, obviously, and control the clock. So we saw that last week with Notre Dame. We're seeing it now with even a crappy team like Arkansas State, and they're successful with it. That's the problem. So it's up to the defense to flip that. And I know these penalties are part of it, but we have to take advantage of these limited possessions when we're on offense. You know, we have way too many 3 and outs to have only 54 plays. Third downs, we were only 5 of 11. That's horrific. It's less than 50%. You got to take advantage when you're going to be, going into the game, you're going to be limited in the number of chances at scoring. So you got to make each one count. You can't go fucking 3 and out. That's just, I mean, this is obvious, right? Or even 5 and out, 6 and out, whatever. You need sustained drives or big plays. We had the big plays for the most part, but we didn't sustain any drives really, like we did to Notre Dame in the third and fourth quarter. But so 3 and outs and the third downs were terrible. CJ goes 16 to 24 for 351, 4 touchdowns. Running game was okay. I would call it subpar, but with only 54 plays, I think their balance was like a almost 50-50, 26 to 20, no, 28 to 24, something like that. I forget the exact numbers.
Right.
It was close to 50-50. I think it was a little in favor of the passing game, but so yeah, rushing, they didn't do a lot. Mayan had 8 on 46, Trey 10 of 87, and 2 touchdowns. How'd you feel about that running game? It seemed like it was like the whole day was like sputtering, like
it just wasn't enough. Like if we have two number 1 running backs, I feel.
Yeah.
I mean, Travion with 10 carries, Mayan with 8. Good averages. 5.8 for Mayan. 8.7 for Trey. That average per carry is going to be helped out by Emeka's 1 carry for 27. But we're just not enough of it.
Yeah.
Like we're getting back to the you're running 54 plays. We should be clocking in at 70 plays, 75 plays. Where that way you can get your 2 running backs 20 carries, and then you can still get your 25, 30 passing times.
Yeah.
But when we maul, when we want to, we can maul people. I think we could have ran, if we would have just decided to just barrel them and just run those 2 back and forth in and out. Yeah, we probably could have hit 300 yards rushing on the day, but you would have had no passing, and it probably would have been like 32 to 12.
Yeah. So if you do 30 carries, you got to mix in a couple there for Dallin Hayden, a couple for CJ when you include him stumbling past the line of scrimmage and taking a sack or something like that. So,
I saw we those last 8 minutes or whatever, we got a lot of people in the game, offense and defense.
Right.
I was kind of surprised when that we didn't keep the first teamers in longer.
I thought we went too long, honestly.
Well, I just thought the only reason I thought, and I'm always big on get the starters out of there. Don't risk injuries,
Yeah.
But we needed the work. I thought the reps. So
okay, I see. I was thinking that
it's a double-edged sword. So, you want the reps. You want these guys to get more and more reps and get used to the timing and stuff. But at the same time, if one of those guys gets injured, then you're second guessing yourself, forever. So
didn't score a point in the fourth quarter, either team, by the way.
Didn't try to.
Right, that's part of the problem.
We made 0 attempt. That was not even a goal. That was not even. It doesn't. The way the offense was producing, it didn't look like that was any interest in trying to get in the end zone. Like
right.
They wanted to figure out a way. Hey, there's 9 minutes left. Let's just see if we can keep it for 9 minutes. Oh, we can't. Now we're punting.
Yeah.
5 punts. We punted 5 times to Arkansas State.
Yeah. Exactly. What about? Let's talk about some bright spots here. Marvin Harrison obviously had a day.
He's good.
7 for 184. Now we know why he's on that freaks list. 3 touchdowns. Should have had 4, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think that was a garbage call by the typical college referees that are not used to watching football up close and personal. And he made the catch, crossed the goal line, then got it. Like he barely hit the plane of the goal line and then got his arms smacked, So I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought it was
CJ looks right. I'm not concerned the least bit about him. He's kind of learning to kind of take what they're giving you, and he's not afraid to pull the trigger and push the ball when he needs to make a play. So as far as CJ's performance and progression. I think I can't wait. I can't wait to see him in bigger games. When it really matters. All the confidence in him. Offensive line's looking good as well.
Yeah, Whippler played. That was good. I thought
Yeah,
they might hold him out.
And played and didn't seem. I never saw him wobbling or getting him caught on roller skates where he's just getting plowed backwards or giving up his footing. I didn't see him any lingering issues from the walking boot after the game against Notre Dame. So overall, bright spots. We just need more. We need to. I don't even know. I thought CJ played well, but who do you put it on when we're not sustaining drives? It's like, is there somebody always to blame, or is it just we're getting our footing? It's still early in the season, and in 3 weeks this might not be an issue we're talking about.
You could say we're dealing with a couple issues. O-line is not one of them, in my opinion. We're dealing with Fleming and JSN being out. Fleming it's becoming frustrating. You feel bad for the guy on a certain level, of course, because he can't get in a game. And on the other side, though, you're like, well, you're taking reps from guys in practice, Well, so like Emeka, for example.
How much of that are we? I mean, how much of that is he really taking from them? Is he practicing all week and then just going out pregame and then saying, we're gonna hold you out another game? I mean, I don't know how much work is he actually getting through the week. I don't even know what the injury is right now. What is the injury?
I assume it's the shoulder still.
Still.
Same as always. Yeah.
That shoulder, like earlier in the fall camp, it popped out once, out making a catch, and he popped it back in himself, right?
Right.
There was a report of that.
Yeah, so practice.
Is his shoulder ever going to be okay?
I don't know. That's part of the frustration is you're like, okay, so how can you possibly label him a starter if he never starts or plays? I mean, at some point, I think you got to make Emeka the starter like next week. I think that regardless of Fleming's injury status, I say, yeah, you'll play if you're healthy and you go through warm-ups and you're good to go. Yeah, you'll play. You're not going to start though. You've kind of ship has sailed almost, right? I think Emeka has built up enough trust with his first two games here that I think he's earned it, right?
And I wouldn't be surprised, Joe, if we hear Ryan Day kind of, how he talks around stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do make that decision this week.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to come out and say that this is the depth chart.
No, as they never do. But he might say something to the effect of, Emeka has definitely proven himself. He's definitely, we definitely count on him. We know we can count on him. Stuff like that, saying, he's going to be listed at start. I would be shocked if he doesn't start next week for sure.
Like we talked about last week. Remember that crossing route where he didn't sit down in between the zone and CJ barely missed it, like threw it behind him because he wasn't supposed to continue his route. Shit like that is like those are the reps that Emeka is missing out on if Fleming is going through the first team reps in practice, right? So that's my point. That's that's why I think it's key. And Emeka's done everything that's been asked of him, and he still does punt and kick returns, by the way. So I think he's earned it. Not that Fleming's lost it, or I know that it sounds shitty to say that guys can lose their job due to injury, but it kind of happens all the time.
It happens. It's football. It happens. If the guy replacing you produces, well, that's proven. That's production versus your potential for production. People are going to choose production every time over potential production.
Availability is your number one ability.
It's true. Stick around in the league. Make millions of dollars, maybe 5-6 more years than other more talented people. But these guys are healthy every week. It's that simple. So, Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating as hell for Julian. I can't even imagine what it's like for him and his teammates
Yeah.
dealing with it. You know, his good friends seeing him. But what
That's why I
is
say you're
if the
still going to
shoulders
play.
if the
I still want
if,
him to play.
yeah, and his shoulder it's day to day pretty much every week for 3 years.
Mhm.
You know, is that you can't list him as a starter if he's not playing.
At some point, it hurts the
Um,
team.
yeah,
I
and
think we've
Emeka,
reached that point.
yeah, I think all that stuff, you know, and the coaches are seeing it, and they're looking at the tape, and they're saying, yeah, well, Mecca's, yeah, he's our number 3 guy.
Yeah.
Mecca's the third in our 3.
Yeah. So
Um,
Mecca had 4 catches, 118 and a touchdown. Had the nice little jet sweep for 27
mhm.
yards. So the kid can do it all.
Yeah, we should continue to use him in those,
Yeah.
and that takes a little bit of burden off of Trey. You know, since we're, you know, the Evan Pryor stuff that we talked about, stuff that Evan Pryor would be in the game doing.
Mhm.
Let him Mecca, you know, see if he can take all that onto his plate. So, you know, get some rest for Trey. So we're not. But I mean, look, if we're only running 54 plays and Trey's getting 10 carries, he should be fine the rest of the year as far as not getting nicked up. You know, 10 carries and 8 carries from my end. You better, they're staying fresh as is. Like, we don't need another running back. Can you imagine if we had Evan Pryor right now? When's he getting on the field? He has no time.
Yeah.
We don't, our drives aren't long enough to get any more offensive guys in the picture. We don't need to worry about spreading the ball around anymore. You got Emeka, you got Marvin, you got Cade Stover, you got whichever running back's in. That's who, you know. Cade Stover, man. I like it when the ball's in his hand. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Good
dude
things
wants
happen.
that dude wants to play football, man. He gets the
Yeah.
football in his hand. He's like, now I get to do football, and he fucking loves it.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have your 3 receivers, whichever those 3 are, and your running back. We don't. We don't need
And
to.
and
We don't need.
Cade grades out regularly as the best in run blocking,
Yeah, he
like
fucking mauls
overall.
people.
I mean,
Yeah,
over the O lineman. This week he was a 74%. G. Scott got in there for 16 snaps. 8 of
yeah.
them
I
were
saw him in
runs.
there. I saw
Yeah.
him in there a lot.
Yeah. He had 74%. Mecca is a very good run blocker at 69.7. So that's above Matthew Jones, DeJuan Jones, Mitch Rossi. So keep that in mind when you think about Cade Stover. You know, him and Rossi are definitely in there. Not just, I mean, Cade's not in there just for a receiving tight end. He's
Yeah.
going to put his face mask through somebody on defense. So let's get through this post game report. Defensive side of the ball, red zone defense tightened up. That was the upside. Allowing people into the red zone was a bit of a challenge. I mean, kind of a downside, right? 4 offside calls, by the way, 4 of them, count them. And turnovers, still not getting any turnovers, and no sacks from an edge rusher. Again,
Yes. Exactly.
hit on any of those you like.
Well, the turnovers thing, like, turnovers are just like, I don't know, they're kind of like just like the extra on top. Like, if we can get some turnovers, cool. But I don't care. I don't give a shit if you don't get a turnover. But if you keep them out of the end zone, you know, great job. But to not get any turnovers and like something's missing. Like, I don't know. Like, why have we not been able to force a turnover? Not a tip ball, not a strip sack. But then I look at this. So I'm looking at, well, who did what on the here's a tackling list, and I go down a bunch of names, and I'm almost down to the bottom. I see JTT, 1 tackle. Okay, right below him, Ty Hamilton, 1 tackle. Zach Harrison's below him, and there's like 20 guys ahead of both of them.
I have their pressures if you want them.
Yeah, I got Xavier Johnson having as many tackles as Teron Vincent.
Oh, on special teams.
Jerron Cage,
Yeah.
starter. Zach Harrison, starter.
Well, Teron got benched after that halftime scuffle.
Was that Teron that did that?
Yeah,
right?
he was. That dude's mouth does not fucking stop. That whole first half, he's yapping after every fucking run play. He's got to shut up because I don't know why he thinks he needs to talk shit.
Yeah, I didn't realize who it was right there at the end of the half
In the end zone there. Yeah. He's the one that he got the penalty called on him and he got benched. He didn't come up. I don't think he played much in the second half, if at all. Yeah, I got your pressures here on PFF. I got Jack Sawyer with the best pressure rate of 84.2. He had 2 hits, 2 hurries. Michael Hall Jr., 3, 1 sack, and 2 hurries. Kenyatta Jackson even got a hurry in there late. Steele with the sack. Total pressures, though, JT had 4, 2 hits, 2 hurries, no sacks. So your leaders are basically Sawyer, Michael Hall, Eichenberg just had a couple hurries, Ty Hamilton a couple hurries. So, yeah, I mean, nobody's getting into the backfield, especially from the edge. And that's my focus.
Right, and I thought Sawyer did look the best coming off the edge because I remember seeing him in the backfield constantly. But we had a lot of that last year. We had a guy in the backfield, but it wasn't leading. They were still getting an 8-yard dump off pass or whatever. A crosser route. But as he releases, then you're hitting him, and all that can lead to is personal fouls and targetings.
Yeah. When you're
that half step late, and then he's releasing, and then if your helmet fucking glances his chin strap, then you might be out of the game. And what did you really do? That you didn't affect the pass, you just got kicked out. Yeah. So we gotta get pressure off the edge.
Yeah, and we got the quality. I mean, the quality of players out there with Zach, JT, Jack, and then the other, JJB, Ty Fry, those guys. But Steel Chambers had a good day for him. 6 tackles, a sack, and a TFL. Cody Simon. So they're basically splitting time here. It really looks like, from my point of view, between Cody and Steele. So in snap counts anyways,
I bet they're trying to split that as 50-50 as possible.
Yeah. Cody actually had more today than Steele. Cody had 48, Steele had 30. Let me see. Cody had 18 on running plays, 5 on passing. And Steele was 11 and 4. Running to passing.
Right.
So just wanted to touch on that. I didn't have a great amount of feedback there, but it's good to see Steele getting the sack and the TFL. He had a great game. I don't know what the plan is going forward with these 3 linebackers. And Steele's obviously a starter. When and why are you using Cody Simon? Is what I would ask Jim Knowles.
Because he has made comments in the past about he doesn't really like to change a lot on the back 7, unless needed for rest or injury. If you're the starter, you're pretty much out there. It seems like we have 2 spots though where that Josh Proctor, Lathan Ransom, and that Cody Simon, Steel Chambers. Maybe those were guys that won their starting spots, but their backup. It was close enough that their backup deserves playing time. It was maybe close battles, that type of thing.
Yeah, I think, judging from Cody's grades, his run defense grade is like 87.5, which is awesome. So it seems like when they think it's a run down, they're bringing in Cody for Steele.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. And we saw that kind of play out last week against Notre Dame. But let's get through the corners and the secondary. Denzel Burke, we talked about his aggressiveness, PIs, 7 targets, 4 completions, 85 yards. That one guy even caught the ball on top of the PI, which didn't count. That kid had the little guy Flemings had 10 catches for 105. I still believe that Hancock would have been in there if he was 100% healthy.
Well, when they did bring in Jacalen, but
Later,
he didn't do much. He's responsible for some of the dumbass penalties too. There was a block in the back on a punt. Emeka's punt return. Emeka's punt return for a touchdown. Yeah, that was Jacalen. I wasn't impressed at all with what he was doing out there. At first I didn't even know what number he was. I'm like, who is 4?
Right.
And then it all registered. But
we only got 6 corners to choose from, so a lot of options.
Just seeing or just hearing what we hear, we don't see practice, but Cam Martinez, I thought he flashed at times out there. I think, I don't know. I like, we said this a lot last year too, and we should see Cam Martinez a little bit more. That dude looks like he could be electric. I wouldn't mind seeing him a punt returner and not risking Emeka's injuries, but Emeka just had a sweet ass return. That was a sweet ass. I knew that as soon as he made that second cut, I knew he was gone. But
we got a comment here from Cassie Gray in YouTube. If you're racking up hurries, aren't you in the backfield? Question. So we are in affecting the quarterback. Yeah, I agree. We are affecting the quarterback, but we're not getting sacks, getting him to the ground or strip sacks, forcing him into throwing bad balls, tip balls or anything like that. So I get your point and I agree with it. The hurries are nice. It's just not leading to, the production of, turning plays, big plays in the game. But thank you for the comment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that's cool. I kind of like doing this live. People can text in.
Yeah, Josh Proctor, 38 snaps, far cry from last week, from the 5 he had. He had 3 tackles. Court Williams actually got in late. Don't know what's going on with him. I wish these media members, God, I wish I was in Columbus. I would fucking break down the door of the Woody and start asking fucking real questions. Nobody has asked Ryan Day yet, what is up with Court Williams? He played only special teams last week. So there's not an injury issue. He played 15 snaps on defense this week, all late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
6 run, 9 pass. He played 7 at strong safety, 8 at free safety. What the fuck is my question?
And we
don't have any answers. So we're just stuck here.
He was wearing number 1 yesterday.
He changed his number. Understand.
Yeah. But right. I don't know. We heard you hear a lot of talk about Court Williams. Court Williams, he's a leader in this team. Court Williams, but then he doesn't play, and you don't hear anything as the reason why.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of safeties. I think Ronnie Hickman, McAllister, Lathan Ransom, I think they all deserve playing time. I'm not saying that any of those guys should sit.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess maybe it's just that simple, Joe. It's just there's production at all 3 safety spots, and he just can't get in. And it could be that simple. I mean,
He's a captain, by the way.
He's probably really good in the locker room. He's a smart kid. He's probably probably real well, thought of in the locker room. That could be that simple. But I don't want to see Lathan Ransom come off the field. Ronnie Hickman. I think those guys are playing good defense. But yeah, I wish we would get some kind of explanation. Because when you don't tell the fan base anything, well, then their minds are free to wonder and think of their own reasons.
Right. Exactly.
I don't see. I don't see any of our safeties. I don't, we don't see those big plays. They're not giving up the deep ball. They're not letting people get behind them. And now, granted, the talent, even Notre Dame doesn't have a passing attack that was really vaunted that we need to worry about deep shots, but they seem to be playing, flying to the ball, great defense. So maybe it's just that simple that the three other guys are playing really well that start, and he would be a starter on most other teams, but can't see the field until late with us.
Yeah,
if that's the case, that's a good case to have.
right. Okay. Score predictions. None of us were close. How's that make you feel? Microscopes. None of us really had anything exciting there. I had Harrison and Court, and
yeah, fucko is what you got.
yeah. So, anyways, let's get into this Toledo pregame. I did want to touch on some of the national games from this week and from next week. So 7 p.m. Toledo comes to town, traveling down I-23 there, or Route 23. It's not an interstate, is it? It's just a state route.
State route.
That's right. Where the stadies like to sit and bust your ass for doing 58 and a 55. Cock smokers. It's on Fox. It's on Big Fox, 7 p.m.
That's amazing. I thought this was BTN all the way. I haven't checked yet, but I would have not have looked at Fox first. I would have went to BTN at 7:00 first.
And a rando time at 7 p.m. Not a 7:30 or an 8 or an 8:30. So anyway.
Fox must have gotten smart and did away with that fucking baseball game of the week. It's fucking football season now.
Yeah, that does make sense. So you got Jason Candle coming in, 7th year, bringing his Toledo Rockets. Don't have a lot of info on these guys. They're returning 7 offensive starters, 8 defensive starters. So that's good for them. They play a horrific schedule. I didn't even know Long Island had a fucking college, but they beat them 37-0 in week 1. Then they spanked UMass 55-10. They should play the UMass basketball team. Maybe that'd be more competitive. So not a lot to gauge from there, really. Quarterback, he's all right. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Running back, he's good.
They got some talent. They got some quick guys. They're going to be in trouble with our defense. So he's plain Jane. We're fine.
Well, the quarterback is a dual threat. I tell you that. I know that. He had 74 yards rushing last week, 2 touchdowns on top of his 177 through the air. And they got a lot of dudes that'll run the ball. Willie Shaw, Jaquez Stewart, Micah Kelly. These guys need to go into the portal and start grabbing dudes. I don't know what they're doing. But, like I mentioned, they have a lot of returning starters, so that's good for them, right? Seems like it would be.
Yeah. I mean, it's these in-state schools. I like it when we play them. And it's almost like I remember when Cooper and Tressel both they felt like they didn't want to embarrass an in-state school. Mm-hmm. That kind of went away with a different mindset with Urban, and I think now with Ryan Day, just because of the accelerated level of our program, where we're way more elite. Whereas, with Tressel and Cooper, we're building like a top 10 program, maybe not an elite program. Yeah. So I don't want to, I don't care if I don't really want to go out and embarrass, like run the score upon them just to beat them down. Right. We should be able to score 60 on them though, with whoever the fuck we got running offense.
Yeah. So the spread is 31.5, over under is 63.5.
We got to cover one of these games. We got to start covering.
Tell me about it.
Right?
Taking a kick in the face. I've got Buckeyes 48-10. Jeff, what do you have?
I didn't have Arkansas State getting 4 scoring drives. Now, thank God we held them to field goals each time.
Yeah.
But, right now I don't have any confidence in saying we're going to shut somebody out because our corners aren't playing consistent. I do like Cam Brown though. I've always liked Cam Brown. I like the way he's playing right now. Sidebar.
He's been the consistent one thus far.
He's in his interview last week. He's talking like it's the first time I honestly feel truly healthy, where I can contribute and help the team, and that's eye opening because he played a lot of football. It sounds like he's played a lot of football injured. So super root for Cam Brown. But with that said, I can't call a shutout. You say 48-10 to get the cover. To get the cover at 38, I will go. I'm going back to the well. I'm going 54-13.
54-13.
54-13.
Right.
I'm going back to it. I'm rough. I'm hanging right around that score range. Third game now, but we're gonna start covering. It's a night game. Maybe we'll get back a little more excited in the shoe, a little more offense. Let's see some turnovers on defense. I think mark me down here. We score on defense this week.
Okay. We got a question from Tyler Kersley. Sorry, hope I didn't mutilate your name. How do you think we create turnovers this year? Well, Jeff, you just talked about it. How do you think we create turnovers?
I think most turnovers come with pressure. Pressure either pressure on the quarterback or you pressure receivers where you alternate timing. Like you're bump and run man to man where you're on them. There's contact at the line of scrimmage with pressure. Combine that with pressure from your D line. You're throwing off timing with the quarterback's receivers. You can jump routes. So it's kind of playing defense. It all works in what's the word? Symphony.
Synchronicity.
Like it's all synchronicity. That's where we're gonna go.
My favorite police album.
If you're showing and you're gonna blitz, say you blitz 6 or 7, and you're playing man to man, bump and run coverage, the timing is already off. Now whether they throw a ball and they get a jump ball and they out jump you for it or whatever, but the timing's off. So that way you're hoping to get not a crisp throw from the quarterback and get some receptions. Blitzes also, backside blitzes, you get those strip sack fumbles.
All right.
Just pressure. Keeping pressure on them. Constant pressure on offenses.
It'll force that quarterback to throw something up in the air that he probably shouldn't. Also, Sean's final score, he has 45-17.
And we should say our friend Sean is a proud alumni of the University of Toledo.
Oh, he is a Rocket, yes. So let's look at our scopes real quick. Sean has Fleming and Sawyer. So Sean thinks Julian Fleming's going to play. That's quite a gamble right there. And Jack Sawyer on defense. I'm going to go with Emeka on offense, trumping his Fleming. And I'm going to go with JT, the other D end. I think JT gets off and finally gets into the backfield and gets a couple sacks. Jeff, what do you have?
Yeah, we've been talking about getting some edge pressure. The guys off the edge. Mike Hall has been doing a great job going up the middle. I want to focus on you get called out on this podcast for a shaky game. You're gonna get in the microscope next week. Denzel Burke, number 5, play like an All-American. All right.
Yeah.
Get your shit right. Don't whatever was going on last week, bro. You're a corner. That's a short memory. You forget everything. You move on. Go play like an All-American this week.
Yeah. Cassie Gray has 56-7 as
nice.
The final. I like it.
I would love to hold anybody to just one time, and I'll take one trip to the paint over 4 scoring drives of field goals. Mm-hmm. That pissed me off more than anything else. I would rather give up 1 touchdown than 4 field goals.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. What were your microscopes, Jeff?
All right. So my man Denzel at corner.
Okay.
I'm he played like shit. I don't hate the guy, and he played like shit. He played, who knows what was going on, but I'm sure he knows, he needs to step up. And
Offense.
I'm gonna go back to offense. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to Trey Henderson. If you're only gonna get 10 carries, make it 15 yards a carry, not 8.
Yeah.
I know we're asking. I know we're asking a lot. He's running great.
Probably going to be a limited pitch count again for him and Mayan.
Well, I think they're going to be able to mark it down. I say we score on defense, Joe. Another dollar bet. We run over 60 plays.
All right.
Over 60 plays offense.
We need it. It'd be the first time this year.
We don't need to keep these guys at 8 carries, 10 carries a game. They can do, they can stay fresh doing 10 to 15 carries each. We just need more plays.
Mm-hmm.
We need these guys on. Everybody needs to touch the ball. I mean, we're winning. I mean, that's what we need to do is win. Obviously, however, the easiest path to winning is take it always.
Yeah. All right.
But sustain some drives where you just where the numbers just build naturally because you're just sustaining the drive. You're doing what you want to do. You're not just throwing offense just for the sake of racking up stats.
Right. We don't need 7-minute drives, but let's put together a 8 to 10 play 80-yard drive or something like that, 75-yard drive. That chews up chunks.
I used to love those Dwayne Haskins drives. It was 4 plays, 82 yards, took a minute and 40.
Right. Well, that's kind of what we did this past week. It was feast or famine. We'd have a 3-play drive or a 3-play drive. In both directions. But
right.
Let's quickly talk about these week 2 games across the national scene. So many things. I want to skip through USC and Stanford because nobody watched that game. USC though is getting number 4 in the country votes from these dumb fucking writers. Okay,
because it was Stanford.
Easy.
Stanford's not that impressive. That's the most impressive school. Because a lot of people lost to some shit schools. But yeah, that's not an impressive win.
Right. Alabama, Texas, the 20-19. Texas had that in control of that game entirely, even without the Moulet going down with this bad collarbone.
Hey, but that fucking he dropped a dime on that throw though.
Right.
That was a beautiful throw. They got fucking crushed.
He's got to protect himself though. He's got to learn to, maybe throwing out of bounds if you're going to get crushed.
Like Samson.
I called it last week when I was doing my bets. I said he won't finish the game. I probably wasn't the only one because that seems to happen to people that face Alabama.
But they still should have won that game.
I still don't understand that call in the end zone where Bryce Young is falling down. Obviously not down. I'm not saying he was down for the safety. He did throw
intentional grounding. Intentional grounding.
Did not get it back to the line of scrimmage. There was not a receiver in the area.
The ball landed in the end zone.
And we all know that one of the basic rules is a penalty in the end zone is a safety, whether it's a holding,
intentional grounding, anything. Yeah,
and hands to the face, any of that shit that O linemen typically get called for. So that should have been safety.
You want to talk about penalties too? Bama had I think 13 or something like that. Some shit.
It was insane.
They were
over 100 yards
too. Saban is losing his shit on them boys.
Yeah.
Because he don't stand for that either. But but just we've been hitting a lot of penalties, just doing dumb shit because we're playing inferior opponents. Maybe Bama's doing the same thing. Damn, they should have lost that game though. But Bama holds on. You're right.
Yep. App State upsets Texas A&M in their own house. Texas A&M is not back, regardless of what their recruiting classes might say. 17-14. I watched most of that game. That was pretty awesome. App State actually could have run it up. They had some plays that they shit the bed on a couple of times. They shot themselves in the foot. That was beautiful.
I did not get to catch any.
Cannot win.
I didn't get to catch any of his post game.
Oh, me neither. That would have been
I
epic.
I might have to search it out though,
Yeah.
on YouTube or something just to find
Yeah.
out about his. But yeah, I might have to go back to the ranch and get
There
things
you
squared away. But
go.
I grow every day. I've been to Boone, North Carolina. Beautiful place. Spent a vacation there. That stadium is cool as fuck too, Joe. It's down kind of like our old
Yeah.
high school, down like in a hill, and it's got some rocks on the side, like
They
on
got
the hillside and
rocks.
stuff. They got rocks. They got big boulders down there.
They don't have
No,
ranches though.
it's it's in the mountains, in the mountains of North
Sure. Yeah.
Carolina, and
Yeah.
it's a cool little town, cool
How
setup with
far
the
is it from
stadium.
Asheville?
Well, Asheville's way west, man. That's almost Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
All
I
right.
would say it's got to be at least a couple hours.
Okay.
But yeah, of course, Appalachian State provided us with one of the biggest gems we could ever take as a Buckeye fan.
Giant killers.
Yeah, back in 2007, I was holding my daughter in the hospital the day after she was born, watching Appalachian State block a kick against Michigan,
Return
and
it.
I jumped up in the air holding my 1 day old baby because I was so happy to see them assholes lose that game. So I'm a huge Appalachian State fan, and I hate Jimbo about as much as I hate fucking Michigan. So
Nice.
big Appalachian State fan.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about hearing about Texas A&M anymore this season. They're out of the picture. How about this Washington State at Wisconsin? Another upset
You
on the road.
assholes, act accordingly, Whiskey. Come on,
Garbage.
come on, Whiskey.
They were barely ranked, and now they're definitely not. Assholes.
Right. So we beat them by 25, and we zero credit for it.
Yeah, if we can.
Well,
that
I'm
was
just
a
saying,
terrible
if we
game to
do,
watch. Yeah, Marshall upsets Notre Dame at home. Look at all these home upsets, man. It's by like garbage teams. Marshall
you want
goes
to talk
in
about
there. They controlled that game too, and then I don't know, man. Doesn't look good for us,
You know what that tells me though about Notre Dame letting down against Marshall, and Marshall looked good in that game.
Yeah,
I thought they looked good. I'm like, Jesus Christ, nobody's ever talked about Marshall, but they're playing lights out. I think they took on they take on the attitude and the persona or whatever, the aura of their coach so much.
Yeah,
and I think that game last week was so draining for Marcus, maybe that the whole team kind of felt it all week, and they just couldn't come out. Like we thought we played like a little bit of a hangover or a little bit of a letdown from the hype. Maybe it seemed like it was tenfold for Notre Dame.
exactly.
Maybe they embodied their coach so much that their coach was so, like I said, I'm sure that was draining on him. Going through that week and stuff.
Yeah.
Then to lose that game where he thought he had it, he's winning the halftime. So, but we knew they weren't a top 5 team in the country. Everybody said it. That's why the fucking spread jumped up to 16.
They'll be lucky to finish 8-4, man. I think 7-5 might be more.
I had them 8-4, 9-3. I thought their 3 losses might be us, Clemson, and USC. I thought that. So I think I had picked them 9-3, and that still
Stanford's
sounds right.
going to be a battle now.
Stanford always is a battle because they play good. They just don't have enough talent.
Yeah. All right. So Hawaii versus Michigan. Hawaii does cover. Thank you very much. It was the JJ game.
That's a big number, man. 52.
Yeah, it was. I know. That's why I took Hawaii. 56-10, Michigan wins. JJ McCarthy was your starter week 2. Going to be interesting to see. I think he has to be your starter going forward. I don't know how you play this any other way. I don't want to get too deep into Harbaugh's head, but JJ was 11 of 12, 229, 3 touchdowns. I caught part of this game. It looked like just routes on air. These were not contested throws. They're not contested catches. This is just basically 7-on-7 against ghosts.
Right. So the thing is they have no test, and they're playing fucking UConn next week. Like, we don't know what Michigan is. I mean, yeah, they're acting accordingly. At least we can say that. Whiskey, Iowa, go fuck yourselves. At least Michigan's doing what they're supposed to be doing, but it's zero. They don't have any gauge.
Cassie Gray is correcting us on our Alabama penalty count. It's 15 penalties from Bama.
I'm sorry, I said 13. I'm sorry. Thank you, Cassie.
Yeah. So yeah, week 3. Let's quickly go through this. UConn at Michigan, 45-point spread. Don't need to talk much about that. Just see, I think this is all fool's gold. Fool's gold, by the way, for Michigan fans. You're going to beat up on these high school teams. You're going to look fucking awesome. You're going to feel great about yourselves. And then you're going to get into Big Ten play and maybe not think so good when you get slapped in the face by fucking Maryland or something, you know?
They're on the road to Iowa this year. Watch out.
Exactly. So nobody wants a piece of Iowa's offense. Just kidding. Sparty is going to Washington. Washington's favored by 2. Penn State at Auburn, favored by 3. Penn State by 3 in SEC country.
Are they going to go to LR? Drew, the freshman?
I don't know, man. In a that kind of environment, I would not do that.
I wouldn't either. But he's going to be warming up like he's going to be in the bullpen ready.
Sure.
I think.
Maybe if you want to do some kind of Michigan split time combo, that's fine. But also Oklahoma. Oklahoma goes to Nebraska minus a frost. So that should be an easy dub.
Minus a frost, aka 22.
Yeah. Georgia favored by 26 at South Carolina, probably. Yeah. And the
Whatever
Canes,
happened to Spencer Rattler? Whatever happened to that Heisman hopeful last year?
Oh, he still plays.
I know. I'm just saying. But what did you say? Georgia was favored over Carolina?
26.
26? Yeah. Okay, Spencer.
He was 24 of 39 last week against Arkansas with a touchdown and an interception. 376. They'll whip it around. So anyway, that's all I got for week 3. Like we said last week, this is a garbage slate, but I'm sure it'll be exciting. Seemed like week 2 was amazing.
Hey,
we didn't expect it.
One other game, Joe. Last week it sounded like a better game than it does now, but I believe we also have Miami Hurricanes going to College Station.
Yes, we do.
I was kind of hoping, just because living down here and hearing these fucking Miami people, Miami fans talking, they're going to be chirping more now that they saw A&M fall in their face. But I can't root for Jimbo, but I don't want Miami to win. So maybe a 9-9 tie. That'd be cool, like a 7 overtime, and they just say, "You guys both suck. We're calling the game."
A&M's favored by 5.
I see. Now it's coming off that loss to App State.
It's a weird name.
What was that spread going to be if they would have handled business like they were supposed to and covered against App State?
Right.
That spread's going to be 20. But Miami's got a quarterback, and they got the Fighting Crucibles. So I mean, that dude, he's a good coach. So I wouldn't be surprised now if they come in there with a lot of confidence. But I can also see Miami do Miami and just lay a total fucking egg. But at least you'll be a game where you can watch 2 teams with similar talent. Miami's building, so it's better than most of the games around. But
all right, folks. We appreciate everybody on the YouTube live and everybody listening. Thank you. Jeff, good show. And please hit the buckeyecast.com and keep an eye out for those new subscription services we will be releasing. And the Daily Blitz. Don't be afraid to get blitzed every day. Check out the Daily Blitz on YouTube and in podcast format. Jeff, good show.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you later.
Later.
Go Bucks.